Hello, and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johan.
And joining us today, once again, from the fifth Eleminute and Unlimited Lives Radio, is John Robert Wilson and Crystal Beth.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having us back for a second episode.
Thank you guys for coming for the second episode.
It's our pleasure.
Well, guys, we're at minute 70, and this minute begins with Xander and Carmen walking into a room full of injured troopers, and it ends with a screen full of submerged Rico chest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Them tiny nips.
Oh, man. So, Tybo body.
Tiniest nipples.
Body by Tybo. Man.
Does Tybo make your nipples tiny?
I don't know, but if it does, I need to get on it real quick.
It's just a telltale that he's never had kids.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
So this opening scene really reminds me of some of those like audio plays or those who's the guys that does the Civil War series? Ken Burns.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminds me of that, but the way that all the wounded are being dealt with is kind of like a really matter-of-fact, unempathetic sort of way. And it's sort of like it's like the Civil War wounded with all their very, very brutal, violent injuries, but also the future where a single human really doesn't have a lot of value and they're not really kind of taken care of properly. They're just kind of lumped into bins, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what movie it was that I saw, but when they're going through, they're taking inventory of who's been injured, but they have like a nurse marking them like who is probably gonna die, basically don't bother helping this one and who can be saved and all that. And that feels like the order that they're helping these people in.
So there are two different scenes from two different movies that I remember that from, Johan. One is from one of your favorite movies, Pearl Harbor.
Really? That was from Pearl Harbor?
Well, yeah, it's so the lady is marking people that are going to have morphine or people that are fatal and are not going to get morphine.
Lady, Kate Beckinsale.
I'm sorry, Kate Beckinsale. Yes, she is marking
she uses
people.
her very expensive lipstick to mark people.
Yes, and another one would be from Saving Private Ryan when they're on the beach and he's going through the triage and saying, oh, this is critical, this is fatal, he's already dead.
Yeah. I think it might have been the scene I'm thinking of was from Pearl Harbor. I remember watching that movie and then just like going like, why am I watching this?
I saw that at the drive-in with my almost new first boyfriend. We did not discuss the boyfriend-girlfriend until after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, almost. What?
Well, I had invited him to my birthday party. We weren't boyfriend-girlfriend yet. And then after Pearl Harbor, we came home, and then I called him, and he called me, and he was like, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yes!" Has nothing to do with Starship Troopers, but because we're talking about Pearl Harbor, and I want to talk about the first love of my life, yeah.
Wait, why was he almost?
Wait.
If there's anything
how are you almost
So,
boyfriend and girlfriend?
When I invited Reed Thomas Harrington to my birthday and we went and saw Pearl Harbor, I invited him in my mom's 15-passenger van, and he came with us. And then at one point he had to stop to pee, so we drove the van away pretending to leave him, but we didn't because my mom's a real jokester. So we picked him back up again. We were sitting in the back seat of the van, and we were holding hands, and it was so cute. And then
This story sucks.
after Reed, after Reed, who I call all my boyfriends previous to John now. So after we dropped Reed off at home, he called me and was like, "Hey, do you want to be my girlfriend?" I don't know how it goes.
Snoozer.
It's a snoozer. Either way, Pearl Harbor reminds me of my first boyfriend, which reminds me of John Robert, my first husband.
No. I was about to say there's a reason why you forgot about that.
I'm glad we
Anyway,
could
yes.
jog your memory about this.
I honestly forgot about that whole story till right now. But yes, you got to write the, if you want to kill him or let him be alive with the lipstick.
I was just confused about the whole entire almost. I mean, my wife was on my almost girlfriend at one point too, but then she became my girlfriend and then became my wife. I mean, That's just how it was. She never was like an almost. I guess I'm assuming that almost meant that like, oh, we were planning on asking each other out, but then decided against it.
Yeah, that's
If
sort
you've
of
ever met me, anything I've done is almost until it's actually done.
yeah.
He was almost my boyfriend, and I happened to not mess it up.
So, Crystal, you live in a state of pretty much continuous flux.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I can't flux now with John. We're stuck.
Oh, it's legal.
Poor bastard.
It is legal.
Good thing that he and I first bonded over Star Wars and Starship Troopers.
Yep.
Good movies.
It's true.
Both great movies.
But yeah, so we're going through the triage, and yeah, as you said, Ken Burns pretty much it is very reminiscent of a Civil War, doctor's tent.
Yeah, we see a dude's leg chopped off, limbs everywhere, blood everywhere. It's very visceral, this whole scene.
Oh yeah, Verhoeven loves his blood. He absolutely just loves gore, freaking people out with, all the body horror and everything. It is great. Body bags are being taken out, people looking, guys who are like just completely just white and have their mouths open are just like being taken out in body bags. People, yeah, like this guy right here at 1 hour, 9 minutes and 12 seconds, he is grabbing his leg and just going to the guy next to him saying, "Look at this, look at it."
I need answers.
Yeah. I needed this by Tuesday.
I need to know what you're going to do about it, and I need to know right now.
I have a structured settlement, and I need my cash now. That's what I thought.
Oh. Call JG Wentworth. 877 cash now. Oh, marketing works. Marketing works, guys.
It really does, especially when I was sick on those days and was watching Jerry Springer, and that commercial would come on. Great commercial.
Daytime TV, man.
Oh, yeah. Denise Richards, Carmen, she is just blowing by everyone. She has one mission on her mind right now, and it's not looking at all the carnage around her. Xander, on the other hand, does. He's kind of freaked out a little bit. I don't think he's seen the carnage or the blood or anything like that he's seeing right now before. But Carmen, she just goes directly to the casualty report.
The Wall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see,
The Wall of Names.
we've had that discussion that she is sociopathic, that she does not care for other people's misery. All she has is her objective.
That would explain a lot of things, actually.
She's got issues.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she does at least care a little bit about someone right now. And
Does she, or does she feel guilty about dragging someone into war?
that's going to be what my other thought was. Either that she was guilty or that she's kind of concerned.
Or that she thinks of herself in a third person. She's like, I'm concerned about Carmen.
Is Carmen okay?
See, I would have just Googled my name first, just like Carmen.
Just to see your name alive. Like, look at that. See?
Look at that. I lived.
Not found. Fantastic. All right. Let's continue on, guys. I'm still going to get that pension. Now, Johan and I have been going over numbers in this. Actually, we spent a good 15 to 20 minutes of non-on-air radio discussing the numbers. And it was a boring 10, 15 minutes because we were just doing numbers. We were just like adding up stuff. But I have some numbers here, and I can add all this stuff up right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did it off, or we recorded it, and we realized it was a horrible idea to record it because of how boring it was. Matt, you came up with some numbers that are very, very good. And
All right.
unfortunately, I see something that could destroy all of it.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
no.
go. Oh, no. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
Well-
we had the Klendathu casualty list. We have the numbers.
Yes.
308,563 died on Klendathu.
Yes.
Now, we factored in all of the soldiers that are on the ships. We factored in all the soldiers that are on the Vikings, as well as the Thunderbolts, and possibly who were en route, correct?
Mhm.
At the top of that scroll, wounded in action 2,548, Missing in action, 205,791.
Yes.
KIA, 305,515. That outmatches the Klendathu list that we have.
Yes, it does. Okay, but the thing is, I added this all up as well, too, so hold on to your horses.
Wait, you did?
Yes, I did.
So then that means that the 305,000 is possibly all the ones that were on the ship. 205,000 are all
like
the
308,000.
So, yeah, so Johan, killed in action and wounded in action are still casualties. Wounded in action is still a casualty. So the killed in action and wounded in action, that adds up to the casualty right there. The missing in action is not added up into that.
Yes, that's what I mean, is the missing in action are possible bodies that were unrecoverable, which means they're probably in space.
Yes. The total of that I have at 514,254 total, including missing in action, probably dead.
Oh, okay, and that was the initial number that we had to begin with, where we both somehow came with the same exact number on the ships using completely different methods.
Yes, exactly. So we were trying to discuss, okay, at first we were discussing how many troops or how many people are on the corvettes. I came up with a total of around 2,140 people on every corvette. That includes maybe around 700 crew and about 1,440 troopers per corvette. And that includes, because we went through the whole entire Vikings and everything. We figured there were there were 9 Vikings per each row on both sides, and we figured at least there were 18 Vikings on each side. So as soon as the first Viking drop would go through, there would be a second one, because at one point Xander says, "Oh, we're like at 46%," and that if they were dropping them all at once, they'd be done.
Yes, and
Right.
the one thing that screwed up my math was not knowing how many Thunderbolts were on the ship, but then we actually did get a top shot where there was about 10 or 12 Thunderbolts, which is what screwed up my math. But then somehow we both came up with 2,100 on each Corvette somehow.
Damn. I didn't think about it like that, because I was watching the movie and just seeing it as what it is. I didn't even think about it as how many individual souls were on each thing. That's insane.
Yeah, well, I'm going over, it's simple numbers, people.
I hate numbers. I'm glad you guys are better at them.
There's more of us than, or there's more of them than us.
Boys
Yeah,
and
we're
girls.
simple. They have more.
Yeah, and so I figured because of that, just to get the casualties, the whole entire casualties, including missing in action, wounded in action, the whole entire fleet would have had to have been at least the size of 240 corvettes during this drop. So that means that there have been a lot more personnel on this drop. And I was thinking to myself too, I was doing a lot. This is, again, not on the wiki. This is not on anything. I just had to do this in my head, and this is all estimates. But as I said, I can edit the wiki, and I can probably do this myself. I figured because the Federation is a one world government that is pretty much an Earth sphere and everything, that they probably have the same amount of people that the United States military has right now to upkeep and quell down resistance and whatnot. Right now, the U.S. military has around 1.2 million active duty, with around 800,000 in reserve. Meaning that if that's the case for the Federation, they probably lost 1/3 of their whole entire forces in just one drop.
Oof.
So
You gave me such a numbers chubby right there.
See, but the one that me and Matt constantly conflicted with was how many sets of drops. I think it's still multiple drops, whereas Matt believes there was just multiple ships. I think it was a ship or one Corvette going back and forth to refill to drop them again.
And I'm on the idea that the whole entire planet was pretty much surrounded by corvettes, and they were just dropping it constantly. But the planet itself, in kind of like an ant kind of frenzy, pretty much resisted pretty much everyone, and that's how they lost pretty much 1/3 of their forces. I don't think they did, put up all of their forces to one drop. I think they at least did half, or a good chunk of their forces to this drop. Not like all of it, but a definitely a good chunk of their forces.
See, a couple of things that make me think that it is just multiple runs is because I think a lot of the missing in action doesn't necessarily mean they were stuck in space. It could also mean that they fell into the catacombs like Katrina did.
Yeah, that's true.
So that could just be like, it's not like they lost a huge chunk to a ship that got blown up in space. It could be a ton of people dragged underneath the catacombs to be brain sucked.
And also, as we'll see later on, too, that, the killed in action, missing in action, wounded in action could be completely wrong as well, too, because one thing that Carmen does look up, one person that she does look up is actually not dead.
Yeah.
That's right. And being a big government, there's going to be errors everywhere. And you would think, too, that they would be very budget conscious. So to have a bunch of ships surrounding a planet from all sides would cost a lot more fuel than a few shuttle ships ferrying my expendable humans back and forth from capital ships. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, the wiki is not really privy on what kind of fuel they're using, but I don't know. I like to think it's some kind of cold fusion or something like that. Some kind of Star Trek era stuff, but who knows?
Maybe to use people. We haven't seen too many old people. Who knows?
All of a sudden, like in the future, we find out that old humans can generate like 10 megatons of energy when you do something specific to them, which is horrible, beyond imagination.
Oh God, is it going to be the Matrix?
God.
I don't want it to be the Matrix, guys. But yeah, so Carmen does say, hey, it doesn't look like there's that many wounded. And Xander does say, well, bugs don't take prisoners. And yeah, they really don't. They just eviscerate, maim, and kill everyone.
I can't think of anything in bug culture that would represent a prison.
No. Well, I mean, in the book, they definitely did take prisoners because they were pseudo-arachnids. They were capable of technology ships and other things, and they were just weird and different. But they definitely took prisoners. They definitely had cities, and they definitely had a different culture. But it was just like so alien to everyone else that... And also Verhoeven was all like, nah, that kind of sounds weird. Whatever, I'm just going to make him big spidery things.
Nice.
But yeah, poor Carmen here. She looks up Johnny's name and sees that he is killed in action. Deceased. MI3495.
KIA.
Killed in action.
I mean, to think about it, if you're starting to be that guy that wants to get away from Carmen, this is like the ultimate ghosting.
Yeah.
It really is.
He's like, I'm dead. Don't need to call me anymore. New phone, who dis?
Yeah. He did pretty much blow off Carmen completely at their last meeting. So, I mean, this would be a perfect opportunity for him.
Yeah. So
I'm not John Rico. I'm
Rico
Juan,
John.
Yeah. I'm Juan Rico.
Juan Rick.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm Johnny Pico.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, crud.
I'm not Johnny Rico. I am not Johnny Rico.
There you go. The total idiocracy kind of thing. Not sure.
I'm Gawny Weeno.
There we go.
The Star Wars name right there.
Exactly right.
Because they don't have that H. Hux with an H.
Oh yeah.
He hates it.
I hate that explanation. We're not gonna. Let's not get into it. Let's not get into
That's
it right
an
now.
Unlimited
That's a
Lives
whole
thing.
other
We
podcast.
talked about it already.
It's a whole other podcast. Thank you.
If you want to hear the explanation, go tune into Unlimited Lives.
Their latest episode talks all about how they hate the H in Star Wars.
Right. But X wings, B wings, and Y wings exist.
Yeah, sure, why not? But Carmen looks like she is at least faking some kind of remorse or sadness when
I
she
think
says,
she's
"Oh no."
sad just because there's one less man chasing after her booty.
There we go. I think she's like, The guy who used to fawn over me, he's gone.
Oh no, the guy that was in my back pocket that I could marry in case no one else wanted to marry me, he's gone.
Yeah, you think she's one of those, huh?
So you think she had like a marriage pact with him? Hey, Johnny, if we're not married by the time we're 50, let's get married.
Yeah. Or if not a marriage pact, just like she knew that she could keep this small town guy in her pocket, but she didn't realize what was really happening.
She got off on controlling people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that whole social media thing where, like on MySpace, if that guy that you have wrapped around your finger, you're no longer on his top 8, you go like, how come I'm not in your top 8 anymore? And this is kind of that.
What do I have to do to make that happen, sir?
Yeah. Like, what? You unfriended me? How come you didn't like my photo? And then now she just can't do that anymore.
Top 8s. I miss that. I
I
can't
miss
rank
my
my
top 8
friends
too.
anymore.
My top 8s were all music people, or just music because I didn't care.
My top 8 were all assassins and ninja.
Ooh.
He had 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, how'd you know?
I had a Like Bacon group as my top 2.
Wow.
It's like Bacon, and I was like, cool. And I was like friends with them, and then I just kept it there.
Nice.
Good one.
So Johan, we discussed this many times beforehand, but there were different deleted scenes in this movie, and this actually takes place a little bit before our scene change happens in a few seconds. There is a deleted scene, and do you want to go over that real quick?
Yeah, I'm gonna it starts at the beginning of this minute, where they talk about this wall scroll that comes up. It's how it's introduced. There's supposed to be a tagline that says, sometimes loved ones die for a good reason. And so the KIA, WIA, and MIA flash up.
Whoa.
And it says, if you see the name of a loved one, please do not call. A Federation official will call you. Would you like to know more? And then this scene happens. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn. That's terrible.
Yep. So it's kind of setting the mood of how this is going to go. They're getting off the Roger Young. They're on a walkway, the moving walkways, and next to him is a conveyor belt of all the dead and wounded. So they're walking past all these people that are like screaming, basically what you see in that background. And then Xander tells to Carmen, "Give me a hand, will ya?" And then as she holds his hand, Xander kisses her. And then Xander says, I was thinking maybe we should get married, Carmen. Like, amidst all the dying people around you, he says that.
I mean, I know what turns my lady on, and it's blood and gore. I mean, she just goes buck wild for that, don't you, honey?
No.
I love you, honey. You're gonna be on the podcast again.
I don't care. I don't want to be on your nerdy ass podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
don't you dare!
Yeah. This December, take her to Zales.
I'm keeping you in.
So,
Oh, that's amazing. I love her.
Jess? Yeah. So then Xander says, I was thinking maybe he says like, maybe we should get married. Carmen says, you were thinking, you were dreaming. Then Xander says, if we're going to be a team, why not be a real team? Carmen says, there's a war on. I want to command a ship. You do too. So it's that whole thing of why she broke up with Johnny. So she's keeping him tethered again.
Okay.
And this is a part where she sees a scene, or the one that we're looking at, where she sees Johnny's name. She runs away crying, and then it goes into the deleted scene. But the deleted scene, the dialogue is changed, where Xander comes to comfort her, etc. Carmen...
What do you mean by comfort?
Okay, so Xander says he's sorry, which is, that's what you should be saying. And now Carmen says that, oh, Xander, I'm a fool. And then Xander says, you're upset. That's all right. Then Carmen says, no, don't you see? No one can wait for anything anymore. You're right. We should get married.
Crystal,
So-
I think there were about 5 to 10 corpses around us when I proposed to you.
Yeah, but that was because it was the fifth element and we killed all our guests.
That's right.
Well, we don't kill guests on our podcast. I think George Hendricks is perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's
I
fine.
think-
I actually just texted him a minute ago, and he is unfortunately live and kicking.
Well, it'd have been a little too hard. I'm not really too good at this, killing and just leaving of bodies everywhere and everything. I don't know.
He's wily.
Well,
He's a bit stringy, isn't he? He's just,
well, don't worry,
jumping
you'll get
around and everything.
You'll get a lot better at it once they start testifying.
But so that was the original script, which is just really weird. I mean, Xander, we've kind of penned him as just, he's always been a jerk. He's been upfront about it. He wants Carmen. He wants to further his career. And that's it. That's all there is really to him. So I kind of don't hate him for this segment. But Carmen just like, I don't know. Just now she's engaged.
Well, so that was in the script, but there is a deleted scene where, they comfort each other and Xander comes up behind her and they straight up just have sex.
Yeah.
Ah,
That was the deleted scene where, again, Verhoeven did say that he deleted these scenes because test audiences did not like Carmen whatsoever because of these scenes. And it was basically as soon as she finds out Rico's dead, Xander comes to comfort her, and then they start making out, and it's implied they start having sex.
I mean, if they from the start just said that she wanted to break up with him, it'd be a different thing. But the fact that she still wanted to be with him, said she'd write, and then it went through all that weird stuff, that's the part that makes people hate her. Because you should be allowed to change your mind halfway through. But the fact that it was like, as soon as she got an opportunity, and then this happened, and she was sad, but she wasn't really sad. And oh my God, I'm so glad they took out those scenes.
We've been in high school. I mean, most of us have been in high school, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately.
Would you guys say she's a one-dimensional character or
Yes.
a two-dimensional character?
I say-
Two-dimensional.
I say two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Okay.
She has an arc.
Okay.
It's
Right. She has.
Minimal.
We have high school Carmen and then capital ship Captain Carmen.
Yes.
yeah.
There's no other depth for the character you guys see.
She sees both her men die. I know Casper
That's
Van Dien
true.
comes back, but
I didn't think about that.
her loves die, and then she's like, I guess I'm dead too. And that's how she comes back, and that's how she treats the rest of her life.
I guess I'll be a
be
nuclear
a
scientist and have sex with this international spy.
I guess Christmas comes twice a year this time. But James gets his first, remember?
I let the woman have the last word, but that wasn't good enough for her.
Now go along, honey, man talk.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, my favorite part of this minute is right when Carmen leaves, there's an extra in the back that I think, right back center frame. Looks like she should be upset, but definitely looks like she's laughing at the list. And since I saw this movie in the theater, I have noticed it, and it has bothered me. At minute 70 and 49 seconds, you see this girl in the background, right center frame, light-skinned girl, looking up at the screen and holding her hand up to her mouth, and then pulling it down again. But she literally looks like she's laughing, even though I think she's supposed to be crying.
Yeah, she doesn't really have that face that lets you know if she is laughing or crying.
Yeah. But
I was actually looking at the guy next to her, the kind of guy that has a little bit of more of a round face, and he's just like, oh man. That's all he's doing pretty much the whole entire scene.
No.
She is laughing. I never saw that before.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, the guy on the left side, the doof guy,
Yeah.
or the guy on the right side, the one that's like,
No,
which one?
Yeah, the guy on her left side. So he's like he on our right side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
I
just like,
see
oh
that guy
no.
now. See, I could
Oh,
never
no.
notice that guy because the other girl was laughing so hard.
And my eye was ever since I watched this movie from the very beginning, or the first time I watched this movie, my eye was on the dude who has like the big gash above his head, and he's just bleeding profusely on his forehead. He's like, oh my gosh, Look at all this.
Bloody Matt.
And that's the thing too. No one else was looking at this wall until Carmen decided to look at it. Like no one cared, and then everyone just started coming up behind her.
Yeah, and then the bloody guy's just like jumping up and down behind him.
Mm-hmm. Like, come on, dude. You're tall enough. You can see that wall is big.
You don't need to hop. Ugh, these extras are horrible actors.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've come across some really bad ones. Earlier, when they showed the news footage of BA being destroyed, there were those two actors in the back that seemed to be having a good time, probably because they were staring at a green screen, and just probably didn't notice that they're laughing and smiling about the whole situation.
Oh, yes. I remember that part.
But yeah, then we get a little bit of a scene change, and we see Mr. KIA right here. He's floating in a green vat of green. I don't know what else to call it. It's just green.
It's
Yeah, there we go. Back to tank.
A vat of green.
But yeah, he's being held down, and our minute ends on his tight little tiny nipples.
In a bath bomb.
Bath bomb. Oh yeah, it's a Rico bath bomb.
So it ends literally on his nipple.
Yes. 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 0 seconds, right on his nipple.
If I could pick a nipple to end on, it would be his.
Cut ice, that one can.
He goes right to the point.
Yeah, I hate you. But guys, do you have anything else you want to speak about this, or do you guys want to say anything else about this minute at all?
Not about this minute.
I'm good.
No, am I right?
All right. Well, where can they find you, Johan?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. You can also find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johan.
John Robert, Crystal Beth, give me some plugs.
You can find us, our voices on the podcast, The Fifth Eleminute, which is a Movies by Minute podcast that follows the format of this podcast, and also Unlimited Lives, which is a podcast about video games, also on iTunes. Also, you can follow me, John Robert Wilson, on Twitter at John Robert Wilso and twitch.tv/John Robert Wilson. And you can follow Crystal on all social media under the title The Crystal Beth.
Perfect.
And you guys can follow me at pretty much Alt Tab Matt anywhere you can find Alt Tab Matt, from Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Craigslist. I don't know. I may be selling something on Craigslist locally. You guys can follow the show on Twitter at The Roughneck Min, M-I-N. You can also go to our Facebook group, The Roughneck Minute Billet, B-I-L-L-E-T, to continue the conversation and talk about Johnny Rico's tight little nipples.
Oh, yeah.
I say that very softly.
The tight nipples.
Body by typo, everyone. You can also go to our website for any past episodes or show notes at theroughneckminute.podbean.com. And you guys can also subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or any other podcast you guys can find as well, too. But I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johan.
We've been Crystal and John Robert. We'll see you on the bounce, troopers.
Test audience. Dang it, why can't I say that? Test audience. Dang it, why can't I say test audiences? Thank you.